Right, welcome back. It's another brew day. So what am I brewing up today? I'm brewing up a pale ale. And this time, I'm going to be using two hops I've not used before, and especially, might seem like a weird combination, but I wanted to brew up a pale ale that used Strata hops, which are fairly newish hop, I guess, but they are sort of well known for having a rather skunky type aroma. I don't know, kind of dankness, cannabis type smell to it. So I was quite keen to try these, but a lot of people said that they work well when paired with other hops rather than on their own. So I'm going to pair these up with some Sabro hops. So did a bit of research. Strata seems to go well with Sabro, according to quite a few people. It sounds like a weird combo. Sabro's got a bit of a sort of a tropical coconutty type smell, and then you've got the fruity, skunky aromas from Strata. So yeah, I don't know, maybe it sounds weird, but it could be a genius move, who knows? But yeah, you know, you don't find out till you try these things, do you? So that's what I'm telling you. So this is a Strata and Sabro Pale Ale, a StratBro Pale Ale, if you like. I don't know, sounds good. So this, I'm doing brew in the bag. It's all grain, obviously. I've got a big bag of grains that I ordered from Malt Miller. So I pumped in my recipe on Malt Miller, and they weigh everything out for you, and it all comes in one big bag. So very convenient way of buying it. You don't get kind of leftover, odd bits left over that you try and use up and create random brews with. So this is a 20 litre batch. I have 3.5 kilos of crisp Clear Choice extra pale malt in here, 200 grams of light Munich, 100 grams of Carapils, 100 grams of light Crystal 150, and 100 grams of wheat malt. So it's probably more of a complicated grain bill than I would tend to use. But if this sounds familiar, it's because it's pretty much the same as my as the recipe I used on the Urban IPA brew. So that turned out quite nice. It was a very nice base mix for a pale ale. So, well, you know, why not just give it another go with some different hops? So that's what I'm doing. So I have, as well as the Strata and Sabro, I've got some Centennial left over, which I'm going to use for bittering. So I'm going to do a 30-minute boil. 20 grams of Centennial going in at the start of that, and that's going to give me 19, I think maybe 19 IBUs. It's cut off on this sheet, but I'm actually aiming for a total of 37 IBUs. So I think that 20 grams of Centennial starts going to roughly give me about 19 IBUs. The rest of these hops are going to go in a Hopstand and a dry hop. So there are no other real kind of hop additions throughout the boil. It's just at the start for bittering, Centennial, and then I'm going to cool it down at the end to 80 degrees. I'm going to have 45 grams of each of these in the Hopstand, 15 minutes, 80 degrees, and then the rest of it's going in for the dry hop. So 55 grams each of these in the dry hop. So 110 grams in total with dry hop. So, you know, reasonable amount in the dry hop. So it should get a nice hoppy pale ale at the end. Well, I'm actually torn between which yeast to use at the moment. So first of all, I planned this with kind of US-05. This is actually crossed my loof. Is Fives yeast, which is kind of their US-05 equivalent. But I also have in my stores some Cross My Loof Clipper yeast, which is their New England ale yeast. It's kind of verdant type style. So I started to wonder if actually this might bring quite a bit to the party here and really take this to the next level. So At this time I am undecided over which one to go for, 5 or the clipper. So yeah, I'm going to think about that when we get to the actual pitching point. I'm using spotless water, which is reverse osmosis water that the window cleaners use. If you're in the UK, check it out. They've got a website, you just join up, find out where your most local point is. You go along and you fill your containers up with RO water. Yeah, so I will then be adding the salts to that, various salts, etc., to make that a pale ale water profile. So I punched all of this in Brewfather. I've selected my target water profile, which is pale ale, and it calculates all the water additions for you. So I won't bore you with all of that. Yeah, because it's pointless, you might use different water. So there we go, that's it. Hopefully it's going to be a nice straightforward brew day. I'm going to be mashing this for 1 hour at 66 degrees C, and then mash out for 10 minutes at 75 degrees, I think that's what it was. I can't see it on the sheet now, but that's basically what it is. Yeah, so nice and straightforward, bring it up to boil, blah blah blah, and yeah, then get it brewed. So hopefully we'll have something decent to drink in a couple of weeks' time. All right, so there we go. Well, I'll do some footage along the way, and not really much to show. Very basic brew in the bag style, but do a bit of filming and you can see how I do it. All right, see you at the end. With a bottle of the StratBro Pale Ale. This has now been in the bottle for about 5 weeks now, so it's pretty well conditioned. It's come straight out of the shed, not the fridge, so it's sort of chilled but not really cold, but I don't mind that. So the mystery about which yeast I used, you may be able to tell as soon as I start pouring this. So it was a toss-up between the Crossmolu 5 yeast, which is US05 American Ale yeast equivalent, or their Clipper yeast, which is, I think I said at the start, it was like a verdant yeast alternative, but I guess it's more like a London 3 Ale yeast. So as you can see, I have a hazy pale ale. So you probably guessed it, I actually opted for the Clipper yeast to see what that brought to the table. So there we are. That is the StratBro Pale Ale. Don't know if you can quite get that on the camera, but it's a nice kind of golden pale ale. So it's a bit of crystal in that malt bill, which has probably given it that lovely colour. It's the same colour as the Urban IPA, so spot on, exactly what I was hoping for in terms of the looks. Got a nice frothy head on the top. There's a bit of wheat in that malt bill as well. So yeah, that's what we get. So sort of I went for kind of a medium carbonation on it as well. A bit guesswork when it's bottle conditioned, but seems to have worked out quite well. And I used the Clipper yeast, so it's giving it a nice haze as well. So yeah, it's a hazy pale ale with Strata and the Sabro hops. So I have to say I've sampled a few of these bottles over the last sort of, well, after about the kind of first couple of weeks I started sampling them. You know, I've had a few along the way, and it has changed over the last few weeks. I have to say the Sabro, which a lot of people warned me about, gave a very strong coconutty vibe to this beer when it was young, but over the weeks it has kind of diminished a little bit. It's all leveled off and it's all sort of playing well together at the moment. So it was fair dry hop in it. It was 200 grams in total, 100 grams of each hops in this brew. I think it was dry hop of 55 grams each in the end. So, you know, it's going to be quite aromatic. I can tell you just, it's sitting here. There's a pretty big hit of tropical sort of fruits, stone fruit, but it's a big sort of hit of mango, papaya, apricot, some stone fruits in there as well. It's a bit peachy as well, as a kind of a bit of a peachy vibe going on, and a background sort of lime maybe, or lime and grapefruit sort of thing. It's running in the background, so it's a real nice sort of mixed bag of tropical and citrus fruits coming through. So it smells absolutely delicious. I'm going to dive in. It's really nice. So it's got quite a nice assertive bitterness, which is what I was hoping for at the start. I think I said it was about 30, 37, something like that. And that cuts through nicely the kind of sweetness from the malts and those big sort of tropical hop flavours. So actually feels quite a nice balanced beer. I'm happy to say that the big coconut vibe has mellowed down. It's still there. There is definitely something different about this beer that, you know, if you didn't know it had Sabro in, you'd kind of maybe guess that there was a different hop in here. It's giving it a different kind of a different edge, that's for sure. Almost like a creaminess to it, which is a little bit unusual, but quite pleasant. One thing I'm not getting off of this, which I was really hoping for, is that kind of the Strata cannabis type aroma that a lot of people say that you get from Strata, and I'm not really getting a lot of that. So I don't know whether that's been masked by the Sabro, or the clipper yeast has kind of, I don't know, changed the way that aroma comes across in this beer, but I'm not getting a huge amount of that sort of dankness that I was expecting with Strata, but it is very tropical, very sweet sort of tropical aroma, which is very pleasant indeed. And as I say, with that kind of nice assertive bitterness coming through at the end, really nice. So yeah, I'm glad that I chose the clipper yeast. I'm wondering actually whether the US-05 would have worked as well. I think it might have left it all a bit out there. So I think I made the right choice with the yeast. I'm not sure I'd go with Sabro hops again. I'm not really quite sure, you know, if that's my thing. Might be yours, but it's unusual to say the least. But definitely give the Strata hops a go. Maybe pair it with Citra or Nelson or something like that next time. And the malt bill is a winner on this one, I think, so I'll definitely use that. So yeah, it was an interesting experiment. Glad that I did it, and it's turned out a really nice beer. It's one of those beers that you can't stop smelling. Actually, it's so pungent, but pleasantly pungent, and very drinkable. And yeah, I gave a few bottles to some mates, and they gave me the big thumbs up on this as well, so they're pretty impressed. So yeah, it's a good beer. I'm chalking that one up as a success. So yeah, I'm going to enjoy this and maybe 1 or 2 more this evening. It's Friday night, so works out. Having a few beers, and I'm going to enjoy the rest of the weekend, supping a few of these. So have a good one, guys, and yeah, cheers.